Let's run to this body. Let's run to
Special edition of We the People with me, Rishika Barua. I come to you tonight from Sidade, Goa in Donapaula. As Goa goes to the elections, you've heard from the politicians, you've heard from the netas. Today we're going to speak to the people of Goa about the issues that matter to the people of Goa. What is the Goan identity? What do they make of people from Delhi and Bombay wanting a home in Goa? Everybody wants to live here. What is it that makes Goa the most attractive place to live? And why is this indeed one of the most fascinating elections that this small state of Goa is seeing? So I have with me a group of fascinating people joining me from Goa. Thank you all very much on being with us on We the People. I will of course be introducing them through the course of the conversation. But I want to begin by asking you, Ramesh sir, you are an activist. You've worked on the ground in Goa for several years. I want to begin by asking you, issues, what are the issues of the people of Goa?
Particularly for the people of Goa, there is no issue. For the people who think and who are aware of what is happening in Goa, have got plenty of issues. This is the tragedy, and this is what is happening in Goa particularly. So that when I say it is something ridiculous, sounds ridiculous, but it is true. Now, 90% of the literacy in Goa, yet they hardly understand any issue that there exists in Goa and which can disturb them and the next coming futures or generations also. Is a big question and big problem.
So according to you, the issues are whether you're aware of them or not. So the issues, essentially what you're saying is a creation of mind for the people of Goa. But we have Gaurav. He's an actor, activist, doing some fascinating work here in Goa as well. Gaurav, let me ask you, issues of the people of Goa, when you say that, do you agree? Do you agree with Mr. Ramesh Goans that there are issues if you think there are and there aren't any if you don't think there are?
No, I think there is a very large number of issues in the state. To me, what is more important is the cause behind those issues. So naturally, misgovernance is a major issue. But let's take a step back and see why that's happened. And for me, the biggest reason is the political leadership deficit. Why has that happened? Is because we have gone about electing candidates or politicians with a very serious criminal background. There are serious criminal charges, heinous charges, who are currently sitting in our government, in our current Goa government, making policies for us and governing us.
But hasn't that always been the case in Goa?
No, in fact, if you look at data that's been released, particularly by ADR as well as the Election Commission in recent times, I believe it's the number of candidates and elected are doubling every election over the last 3 cycles. That's a significant increase. When such numbers happen, when such people are leading us, what is the natural outcome in the state? They will ensure that crime fosters, not good governance. And that's the outcome of what we are seeing.
We have a very senior journalist in our midst. Sandesh sir is with us. Thank you very much for being with us on NDTV. You know, it does appear that the voter of Goa, it depends on which side of the Mandovi you're on. You're either really aware of what's happening in the state or blissfully unaware. Would you agree with that?
My name is Sandesh Prabhudesai. Voter is basically aware of everything, and Goa's major chunk of voters are middle class, higher middle class, and I would say that basically, like you were asking about the issue, the biggest issue in Goa right now is the blame game. Okay, we are just blaming others, and we coolly go and vote the same people, and then we blame others for electing them. We want all kind of people are there. They are in business. They are in other kinds of activities. Goa is a tourism industry, hospitality industry is there. They have their work which they want to get it done from those people, and then we are in hand in glove with them, and we go and vote them, and we just blame others. First time,
would you say that's because of a lack of choice? Because this time in the election in Goa, there are so many new political parties who have come with the plank that Goa needs an alternative political narrative. Do you believe that that's the reason?
No, that's not the reason at all. Absolutely. And not that there are too many parties in Goa for the first time. I have written a book here, okay, Ajib Goa's Gajab Politics, which gives you the full history from 1963 till date. Okay, and it has been always a multi-cornered fight. Only first time, okay, TMC has come with a bang. It is not that TMC has come for the first time. They were also there in 2012. The only new party which is there is maybe a revolutionary Goans. Okay, it is basically on fanatic lines, sons of the soil and all. But youth are going behind them. So that way, otherwise it's a multi-cornered fight. There is not that because there are too many and there is no choice. Basically, people are not finding a good choice because, like he said, that the background of the candidates which is there, where there is hardly any choice. So we have to today we are at such a stage where voter has to decide between big evil and the less evil, that kind of thing. So
you're saying it's a battle between the devil and the deep blue sea as far as the voter is concerned.
In a way, yes. Right now. But I think that, in Goa, basically, there are too many parties. And people, are frustrated right now. The main issue right now is of defections, where people are just jumping from here to there. All this time, there were postpoll defections. The first time, and first time there are pre-poll defections. And people are really fed up and they want to defeat all these defectors.
Speaking of defections, I want to understand, what do people of Goa actually think about these defections? Varun is a renowned singer. When he arrived here, everybody except for me knew him. Varun, thanks very much for being with us on NDTV. Does it bother you, the defections? It's not a new phenomenon in Goa. People jump political parties after they've been voted from another party all the time.
Yes, I think as they have been saying, there's a big dearth of good leaders in Goa with values and ethics. Yeah. So if these leaders have proper values and proper ethics, all this jumping around will not happen. So I think somewhere down the line, we didn't breed the next bunch of leaders, and that was where Goa failed, I think.
Mr. Sandesh spoke very interestingly about the issue of what revolutionary Goans have come to Goa for. This is a new political outfit that's been formed, Manoj Parab. They're contesting all 40 seats. He's known as the Raj Thackeray of Goa. That's what he's popularly known as. There is an insider versus the outsider of Goa issue that is brewing, isn't there? Sachin, what's your stand on this?
I think that's happening all over the world. I mean, Brexit happened in the UK thanks to the same issue, and it's happening in Goa as well, insider outsider. And there are multiple things. A lot of people think that outsiders are coming in, taking away our jobs, taking away the land, etc., etc. So that feeling is there. But RG is largely popular, from what we know, is amongst the younger generation, which is, I was just discussing with Sandesh as to why that could be only with the younger generation. I mean, they should be interested in a brighter future ahead, jobs, and something more positive. But they seem to be popular amongst the younger generation, and this insider-outsider thing is happening in many. But
is it real? Is it real? Is there an antagonistic attitude towards people coming in from outside? They are taking up homes, buying land. They're even taking up jobs, eating into the economy. Is that a real concern for local people?
I think land would definitely be a concern, because I don't see any local earning enough money to buy any property today, unless he is very rich or has multiple businesses or is a CEO of a company. But an average working person, I mean, I bought a house 20 years ago. I couldn't have done the same today. The problem is that people in Bombay and Delhi, even if you sell a land which is as big as a handkerchief, you can earn enough money to buy some property in Goa. But a Goan cannot do that. A small apartment now costs 70-80 lakhs or even more than that. We are talking
because people from Delhi and Bombay can afford that.
They can easily afford it. For them, 70-80 lakhs is nothing. So but where does a local get that much money to?
Is this a poll issue?
No. It is becoming a poll issue, major poll issue, and if you see all around, all the candidates are basically related to either their land dealers, brokers, builders, or real estate agents. The main thing what is happening is that people are jumping from here to there. They don't feel anything about it because they are just labels. Basically, in Goa, there is an underground party functioning. Okay, and all of them, of all the parties, they belong to this one underground party, which is Land Dealers Party. And that Land Dealers Party rules. That Land Dealers Party not only rules in the government but also in the opposition and in the assembly, where these issues are not discussed.
And that is cutting across party lines. But there is another side to this story, and I want to bring in Amit into the conversation because he works in the real estate industry here in Goa very closely. Another side to this story is the fact that this is, real estate in Goa is booming. It's great business. People are coming. Locals are naming their price and selling land, selling property, and you now have areas in Goa that are known as mini Delhi.
Well, in part it is true, but there are two sides to this story. See, we talk of real estate booming. Where is it booming? It is booming only in parts in Goa. Affordable housing is down in doldrums. Let me be very frank, 90% of inventory is unsold. So if we talk of 90% inventory unsold in affordable sector, the majority sector in Goa is actually in deep distress.
What about you say 90% of inventory in affordable housing is unsold. But what we're learning is that the inventory for luxury housing, for instance, is sold for many years to come.
Yes, see, luxury housing, what are the numbers? Luxury housing, it's become a very popular fallacy to think luxury housing has been very great. If we talk of numbers, they in a year anywhere around 60 to 100 used to get sold, right? What happened 2 years, 3 years past before the pandemic, the luxury housing market was down. Suddenly after the pandemic, it became a little popular to suddenly buy into Goa. And by saying it popular means it became a fad also.
Everybody wants a holiday home in Goa, including me.
Let's be frank. Goa is an aspiration.
Yes.
It is a state of mind. Everybody, 130 crore Indians, 135 crore Indians want a house in Goa. That doesn't mean they'll get it, right? So let me say this. What are the numbers? 400, 500 unsold inventory is sold out. Where are the clear title plots? Very easy to say that there is a luxury booming. There is literally no inventory, so there is an artificial scarcity because there is demand. Yes, there is demand.
What's been the kind of escalation, as someone who understands this sector really closely, what's been the kind of escalation in property prices in places like Asagaon?
100%.
In how many years?
Less than a year. 100% escalation. But there are no plots left. So if we say that this boom is going to continue, yes, it will continue because there is literally nothing to sell.
You know, what does this do? What does this do for the identity of Goa? What happens to the Goan identity? Nolan is with us. You're also a financial coach and you're a food and travel writer. You told me you have a lot of friends from Delhi and Bombay who've moved to Goa and you're very happy about it.
It's been great because, I moved back to Goa 15 years ago. And I left and then I came back in 2012. And the topography has basically changed. The dynamics have changed. And it's funny because even during the pandemic, when the great migration, it reminds me of the wildebeest migrations of one of my travels back in Africa. But everyone just came here, lock, stock and like 2 smoking barrels. They first wanted to test the water. So they bought, inventory, which you was talking about, in terms of 3-year leases and 4-year leases. So basically that's kind of like locked up the entire sector as we speak. During the pandemic, many Goans suffered because devil and the deep blue sea situation, right? So either you find somebody immediately to take it on at a really cheap rate. Many of our Goans went overseas. I mean, they basically earn a living, working in the Gulf or working on cruise liners, etc. Many of them came back. The next thing they jumped over towards was property to try and make ends meet and try to, offset the uncertainty of the pandemic.
But how is this? I'm going to interrupt you. How has this impacted the culture of Goa? Has it led to? I mean, when you say Asagaon is practically become GK2 in GK3, okay, there's GK4 also, but you call it
Jorbag.
Okay, you call it Jorbag. Okay, whatever it's become. How is this? Has there been any cultural difference that you see?
I think it's perfectly added to the cultural topography of the place.
In a positive way?
In a positive way because, I've met many of the people and the first question is apart from their number plates and a few peculiarities which are there. For someone living outside and coming back over here, I think they've kind of blended pretty well with everyone around. The sad part, unfortunately, is prices are skyrocketed just because of the standard of living index which they are used to in Delhi and in Bombay and in any metro for that matter.
So the saying is that you'll find the DL number plate in a place like Asagaon, but you might not find GA. That's what I've heard. I mean, you guys will be able to tell me if it's true. But what's the story behind everybody wanting to come, to Goa? There's a story. I want to come and live in Goa. Anisha has moved from Delhi to Goa with her husband and her daughter. Anisha, why Goa? I mean, I know why Goa, but you've actually made the move. What has it been like?
So we actually decided to move before the pandemic started, and the reason for that was the very high pollution in Delhi. My daughter just wouldn't stay well, so I would anyway spend 6 months out of the year because she would get very, very high fever and, have like lung issues and things like that. So we already planned to move here before the pandemic hit. And I think it kind of worked out really well for us because we decided to move in January of 2020. And when we finally made the move in March, I think it worked out better for us rather than living in a high rise and, having a child and a dog in a very small, close space. We had, the beach and the water and, a child could really enjoy her childhood over here. And it's been great. I'm not looking back at all, just looking forward. In fact, I have a lot of friends who are, very jealous. They're like, you made the move at the right time. And there are a lot more friends.
But has it been tough? Have you felt resistance? Has it been difficult? This whole insider-outsider thing that we keep hearing about, is it real?
It is real. I haven't personally been affected by it because this is my second time round moving to Goa. I lived here previously, so I already had, a bunch of friends. We also do some work in Goa, so we're busy with our work. We have that kind of connect here with people. But yes, I've heard some scary stories. I've witnessed a couple of them myself happening, depending on the number plate of your car. Real. And people do, if you don't speak Konkani, for example. I had a magician at my daughter's birthday party a week ago, and he called me up and he's like, oh, do you speak Konkani? And I was like, no, I don't. He's like, why are you living in Goa then if you don't speak Konkani? So something very small, but yeah, it is, it does become kind of part of your life, but you deal with it. It's okay.
In fact, in an interview to NDTV, the Chief Minister of Goa himself told me that the biggest issue, according to him, this election is jobs. But there is a brewing crisis when it comes to jobs, and I think that is very real. But at the same time, there are people who also have found migratory jobs.
I am Suhit Bhattacharya. I have been living in Goa for last 12 years. I'm a hospitality and tourism consultant, and I also make travel and films actually to promote businesses. So we have been talking about different various issues. So I would be talking about the issues which concern tourism and hospitality industry or the business. First of all, we all know because of this pandemic, tourism and hospitality industry is the most which affected. Now, right now, for example, which is the need of the hour, we actually should think about how to promote, how to put more attention into infrastructure building, which will be more helpful for tourism. There should be more need of a particular institution where you can actually teach the young minds foreign languages, be it business management, hotel management, tourism management, this kind of things. And secondly, of course, we have to, when again about tourism, Goa has not only beautiful and pristine beaches, it also has the Western Ghat Mountains, lots of nature reserves or forests.
But has tourism really suffered? Because there's also been revenge tourism that has happened and a lot of recovery that's been made there.
That was coming lately, but if you talk about the first hit when pandemic started, it was really a bad time for all of us, not only in Goa, I believe everywhere in India.
So the other person I want to ask about jobs is we have with us a model and singer. Introduce yourself and tell me how is the job scene been in Goa?
As a model and singer, well, it was a little hard initially with the pandemic. It took at least close to a year and a half to recover from everything that happened, and because due to the lockdown, a lot of work was really slow, and I just tried to keep busy at home. I also happen to be a French language tutor, so I tried to hone my skills in teaching, and I tried to ensure that I took a couple of French language tuitions online.
For artists like yourself, you're a singer, you're a model, you also act. Has the pandemic been difficult? Has there been a recovery been made? Have you considered perhaps, say, a reverse migration, moving to Mumbai for a job? There are a lot of people I've heard who've actually considered a reverse migration because they haven't found jobs in Goa.
Right. So initially...
Have you considered moving to Bombay because of work?
I was initially considering moving to Bombay, but things are slowly getting better here in Goa. And in fact, there's so many people coming back to Goa. A lot of outsiders, in fact, Mumbai, Goa and all that stuff. And people just think, wow, you're so lucky to be here. And this is where the action is happening in terms of modeling.
Well, you're lucky to be here, but it's not a bed of roses. And I have with me also a celebrity physiotherapist, Dr. Varna. Thanks very much for being with us on We the People.
A struggle in the beginning because I actually was contemplating on going back to Bombay, I think a few months back. And I said to myself, I'm a Goan. it's time to give back to Goa. You know, and I want to
Well
make
said.
it here.
Yes,
Because,
well said.
you know, we forget our roots. And I made it big in Mumbai too. And I said to myself, why?
Tell our viewers what you do. You're the coach.
No, I'm
You're the
a
head
sports
physiotherapist.
I'm a sports physiotherapist at the All India Football Federation. I'm also a celebrity physiotherapist in Mumbai, and
You work with the women's football team, right?
women's
Yes.
football team. So the thing is, when I moved to Goa, it was I thought to myself, well, am I going to find celebrities in Goa? And I realized the amount of people who moved to Goa from Mumbai and Delhi, and I'm like, I can see celebrities everywhere. And in fact, my practice just boomed. I started off, and it was just word of mouth in the beginning, and I realized, and I said to myself, I can make Mumbai happen in Goa.
Okay. Well, all the very best to you for your practice, and I believe you're very good at what you do. A lot of people have raved about you. But Gaurav, this issue of reverse migration, this is real. We've had people on, through our coverage of the election come out and say that we've actually considered moving out of Goa because there just haven't been any jobs.
There aren't any jobs in Goa, period. Unemployment is at 12%, which is the highest amongst all the states that are going to elections now. And this is again directly attributed to the policies of the government. Education policies are not in sync with global standards. They're far backward. Therefore, the youth who are getting educated in Goa do not have opportunities, neither the skills, nor the education, nor job opportunities of a certain quality in Goa. So therefore, all of them tend to leave Goa. Now, what's left in Goa is low quality, unskilled jobs, which are being filled by migrants, labor coming in, or migrants coming in who are okay with any income that they're obtaining. They're also susceptible to abuse and control. This is the same set of migrants who are then made use of by politicians. They become their captive vote bank, who are helped, given money for housing, education, so on, during election time or right before, and cash for votes, etc. And therefore, this is this vicious chain which is developing in Goa.
And it's a vicious change, and I'll go back to Ramesh sir, because he's worked a lot with the mining issue here in Goa, which is a burning issue. And I want to ask you, every political party has promised the resumption of mining, and they've almost touted that as an answer to the jobs issue.
I think that is their madness. Actually, they do not know what is mining in Goa. No politician knows. In fact, let me tell you, they say that in 3 months they can start, 6 months they can start, 15 days they can start. But Baba, what is it that you can start? You can't start it in that manner, the way you think. There is a proper procedure, and that procedure takes at least 3 years to complete and then to begin the mindset. But
what would you say to political parties who are saying they'll start mining in 6 months, and therefore the entire
That is trying to fool the people.
Sorry?
They're lying. They're absolutely lying.
It's not possible.
They're fooling the people.
Yes, I'm completely out of time, but I'll give you 30 seconds.
I think the current government has proven to be the biggest impediment in growth, in harmony, in development in Goa. And I hope tomorrow is a big opportunity that citizens make use of to correct this anomaly in the state.
All right. Well, Goa will vote the way it votes.
The main thing is that even including you, I'm sure, you want to come and live in coastal Goa, not in Goa. Everybody wants to live in coastal Goa, which is not even 1/5 of it. And there is so much of pressure on this land that all kind of illegal sale of land is going on in this, where cultivable land is being converted, and where politicians are involved, and that is the problem for Goa.
Well, but like I said, Goa is a happy place for a lot of us, and Varun will tell you exactly why Goa is a happy place.
Yeah.
You have to sing for us and tell us why Goa is a happy place.
I think the music keeps everyone happy here.
Yes.
Yeah. So as long as the musicians are alive, Goa will be alive.
As long as the musicians are there and the music is there, Goa will be fine.
I'd like to just say one more thing. I'm going to sing a song. It's called Amche Goa. I wrote it a few years ago, and we keep
You're going to join him, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's cross the Mandovi, let's cross the Sawari, let's cross every river and stream. Let's run to Tisvari, let's run to Satari, amcha mogache. Sing go up, amche go up. Uche animoche. We are losing balance, we are losing our sense because of some thieves' plan. We got to unite, stand up and fight before we lose our right. Sing go up, amcha go up, amcha mogache. Sing go up, amcha go up, uche animoche. Sing go up, amcha go up. We can leave you alone. Sing go up, amcha go up. It's time to save a home.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Let's cross the Mandovi, let's cross the Zawari, let's cross every river and stream.